A reading from the Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said, "Be dressed for action, and have your lamps lit. Be like those who are waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet, so that they may open the door for him as soon as he comes and knocks. Blessed are those slaves whom the master finds alert when he comes. Truly, I tell you, he will fasten his belt and have them sit down to eat, and he will come and serve them. If he comes during the middle of the night or near dawn and finds them so, blessed are those slaves." The word of the Lord. Now, when Jesus is teaching this parable, I assume it must have been a time in which it would have been more commonplace for someone to know what it must be like to be like the slave of a master who is off at a wedding banquet somewhere, and to come back expecting his slaves to be ready and waiting for him. But my guess is that's probably not most of our daily occurrences, yours and mine. So what would be a way of thinking about what Jesus is trying to teach us in this parable in a context that's more relatable to us today? So I'm thinking in my own life, I've never been a slave for a master who's off at a wedding banquet, but I certainly have been in an instance where I've had a boss, I've had an employer, in currently where I am at St. James Cathedral. I currently serve at the pleasure of the Dean of the Cathedral, and I serve for the Bishop of Chicago. And in both of those cases, I know when there's certain expectations that have been set for me by my dean, by my bishop, and I sure know that I want to be ready and waiting to demonstrate that when they come knocking on the door in my office, I'm ready to show them that I've been working on the things they've given me to do. I know what it's like growing up as a kid to have teachers or parents that had expectations for me about what I should be working on for my classwork, or the how I should have my room tidied up. And I know when my teacher came checking on my assignment due dates, or my parents came knocking at the door of my bedroom, I sure wanted to make sure I showed them that I had been diligently working on the things they had given me to do. And in my relationship with my spouse, I know there have been times where there's expectations of the life that we're building together, and when my spouse comes knocking at the door to see if I've been working on the things we agreed to that I should be working on, I want to diligently be able to say, look, I've been working hard at what we agreed to. So maybe that's, for my own mind, and maybe for yours, you can think through what it's like to have somebody that you are responsible to who has set expectations for what you'll be working on in your life, what is important, the goals that you have. And you know yourself what it's like to feel like you want to be ready to demonstrate you've been working on those things. And so when I'm thinking about this in my relationship to my God, it's the same way. I know God has expectations of me, of what I should be working on. I should be taking seriously those baptismal vows that I've made to seek and serve Christ in all people, loving my neighbor as myself, to break bread with my fellow disciples, to study and learn with them, to share the gifts that I've been given, to try to see the image of God in one another. And ultimately, the thing that all of this hangs on, which is loving God and loving my neighbor. And I know in theory, when the idea would be that if God comes knocking on my door today, it won't necessarily mean I have done it all successfully or I've finished the task, but I'd sure want to be able to say to God, I've been working on it. I've been trying to love my neighbors. I've been trying to seek justice. I've been trying to break bread and learn and grow so I can present to you I've been giving it my best effort. And that could be a guiding post for us as we're trying to discern how should we be living our lives right now. Imagine what it would be like for you as you're thinking through what you should be doing. What would it be like for God to be knocking on your door today? And what would you want to be able to present to God and say, see this thing we've agreed upon, these things, these goals you've given me to work on, I've been diligently working at them. And you've caught me prepared and working on it. Thanks be to God. Amen.